liberty's veil in whispers will prevail. Just let us tell our tale on paths where dreams set sail. Through love and liberty's veil, in whispers we'll prevail.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another 12 Letters podcast. I am Indy, of course, and the 12 letters are ABDL, BDSM, LGBT, and I know at first that sounds like I'm leaving out the Q plus everybody else. I'm not. It was just a clever name. And 26 letters doesn't work as well as 12. Anyway, I figured I would take a moment to just stop and instead of getting on the soapbox and talking about everything, figured maybe I'd give a little better background on where I'm coming from, so that maybe as I get back around to the kinds of things I talk about, maybe it'll be a little more obvious why that's where I land on things. So, I am ABDL as my primary kind of interest as far as kink goes anyway. I have lots of hobbies in general. I'm interested in a lot of things. I like to know as much as possible. I like science. I like art. I like music. I like where art and science collide. That's just kind of who I am in general. And I kind of come at everything from that mindset, and also kind of retaining a little bit of a childlike mindset where, I don't know how the world works, but, there's ways of investigating that and finding out, and there's questions to be asked. So let's ask the questions and let's find out, and let's only accept that we're tentatively correct until we find out some more new information. And for me, that's a wonderful mindset to just live with every day. As far as being ABDL goes, wow, I'm philosophically, I lean towards determinism, and I'm not sure between that and compatibilism where things fall. So I with my life being able to look back on the things that I've experienced, I can't say that being ABDL is nature or nurture or a mixture of both, which is where, so I'm certain it's not absolute free will, but as far as determinism and compatibilism and nature versus nurture, I don't know, is there a root cause based on an event in my life? There's lots of potentials for yes. And it could just be that was going to happen no matter what. And I'm just correlating those post hoc. I don't know for sure. It's hard to say. It's, I would say, almost impossible to say for sure. But I definitely have very early memories, preschool age, being at a babysitter's, and I must have had an accident of some kind, because the memory I have, and it's just a vague, foggy memory, is of her standing over me, shaking a diaper in my face, asking me if I wanted her to put me in it. And inside, my mind was just screaming yes. But I said no, because I knew that's what I was supposed to say. You know, that's what I was supposed to feel. I knew that. And it's so weird to remember that and not the other specific details, but just that emotional memory was so strong and always has been. Anytime I've seen diapers, it just is this, just like my insides screaming out, and it's such a strong emotional experience that there's a lot of those. So as I got older, I have a younger sibling and younger cousins, and, at my grandma's house, there were excess diapers floating around, and I figured out that if I was, if I didn't get greedy, and I just took one every so often, that, it wouldn't really be noticed. And I did that for years, many, many years. And it wasn't until I was like 15 and hadn't done it in years, like years. And like I got to a certain age, like 12 or so, and it just kind of got set aside. And then I was like 15, and my dad found one of the diapers that I had stashed somewhere at my grandma's house, and he just ripped into me and then kicked the living shit out of me. And I mean, yeah, I caught a pretty good beating over that. And I'm not, that's, yeah. There's gonna be plenty of that and coming up here. So trigger warning, I guess. There's going to be some talk of domestic violence. But yeah, and it had been years. like that diaper, it was like from when I was like 9 and I was like 15 at the time, and it had been years. And here's my dad standing there waving this thing around, griping at me, and then when I'm like, dude, that was like years ago, he just stormed over and started wailing on me, because I was arguing with him and making excuses and all that jazz. Which, and don't get me wrong, it's complicated, but my dad and I are actually cool these days. It took a lot of work, and he's grown a lot as a human being, and he's expressed remorse for a lot of his behavior when I was younger. So, anyway, that's, pretty much the bulk of my experiences. The only more detail I can go into is I remember also probably around 6-ish. There was one particular room in my grandma's house that had like baby toys and stuff in it. And so, I found a place in that room to stash the diapers, and, whenever I got a chance to go be in that room alone, I would stuff a diaper down my underwear and sit on the floor and play with baby toys and just feel comfortable. And I don't know if that's something innate or if it has something to do with my childhood experiences from before that, because there's a lot from before that, that could potentially be a cause, but I can't say that it is, but I can't say that it isn't. I don't know. And it's too easy to jump to yes. I think it to truly be scientific and say, okay, well, if that's the case, then I shouldn't be able to disprove it somehow. But that means proving determinism. I don't know. That's too much. But yeah, that pretty much was it until I was in my early 20s. I was 22, I think. Yeah, I was 22 because it was early 2003, and I had finished my first year of college, my only year of college. It was supposed to just be the first year, but it was the only year. That's another story altogether. But it was the summer afterwards, and I had been dating my first ex-wife, and her and I had broke up. And I was living with my guitar player buddy and his dad. And it was late May, early June, just after school had let out. And I was working in a factory for the summer, ostensibly. And it was a bunch of rock and roll guys all hanging out in this, rock and roll bachelor pad. So there was all kinds of magazines all around, and one of them was like it's like an FHM or something like that. They had an article in there about like if you've got a coworker that's pissing you off, how things you can do to get them fired. And one of the things was hide a pack of Depend diapers in their desk drawer at work. And they had a picture in the article of a pack of Depend. And, on the one hand, I was just completely enraged that, like, the desire to wear diapers is so despised that this is somebody's smug, smarmy suggestion for trying to get a coworker fired was to make it out like they wear diapers. Whether it's out of need or desire, whatever, doesn't matter. Just wearing diapers should get you fired. So here's something you can do to try and get a coworker fired. That's just, it's just, yeah, Hulk smash. Anyway, but seeing that pack of diapers in that picture, my heart just started beating out of my chest. And I stopped and I thought, I've always wanted this. I have money. I have a car. I could just drive somewhere and go buy some. So I did. I went to the, town a little ways away that was actually big enough to to have stores at all. Because the town I lived in had houses. There was literally nothing but houses in that town. Not a gas station, and there was like 30 houses. And nothing else. Literally nothing else. Just houses. So I had to drive a ways, 25 minutes or so, to a town big enough to actually have stores. And I went in there, pouring sweat and shaking, and, pacing back and forth, probably looking suspicious as fuck. And when I felt like it was safe, I ran down the incontinence aisle and Saw Depend, red and green package. Yeah, that's how old I am. And I grabbed it and I ran to the counter and laughed it off and paid for it. Oh, Grandma's asked me to pick these up for her. Ha ha ha. Ran out the door, jumped in the car, and I'm driving home, and I can't even wait. I gotta open the pack in the passenger seat next to me. That's just how intense that feeling had built up to be in me. It had been so long. And I put my hand inside that package, and it was fuzzy. And I pulled one out and said, "What the fuck is this?" And I turned the package in the seat, and I glance over, because I'm driving. I glance over. Depend protective underwear. I waited this long and I stressed this much, and I just wanted diapers. Plastic diapers with tape. And I had crappy adult, don't even really function that well, pull-ups. Not even plastic backed. So my next paycheck, I tried again. And this time I found it. Briefs with tabs. Yep. And this time I waited till I got home. And I sat down on that floor. And I grabbed that package by the top. Separated that perforation. Reached my hand down. And I touched those folded plastic diapers. And just the whole entire world around me just was gone. Just disappeared. And the only thing that existed was me. It was like tunnel vision. Just me in that pack of diapers. Running my fingers across that smooth plastic. And just the sense of relief that these were mine. Paid for them with my money. I didn't have anything to feel guilty about. I didn't take from somebody. They weren't ill-gotten. They were honestly purchased. They were mine. I didn't alleviate the shame. And we'll get to the shame part much later on, because I know there's people looking forward to hearing that part. But for right now, the guilt was gone, and it was just a feeling of relief that I had forgotten about this, pushed it aside, buried it anytime the feeling had come up. Convinced myself that if I just ignored it long enough, it would go away. Never went away. It still hasn't gone away. I still get that feeling. It's relief, it's comfort, it's just home. Just emotionally, it is home. So, I think that's a good place to leave off. It's a little bit shorter. Maybe that'll help with everything. So, till next time, thank you, Lady Kagome, for drawing the logo, the 12 letters logo. It has just the right aesthetic. We talked about it, and you got it just right. I think it's wonderful. I appreciate your effort on that very much. to everybody else, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, whichever one you're doing. Stay true to yourself. Stay good to yourself. Stay good to others. Stay 12 letters. See you next time.
In a world of whispers, secrets unfold. 12 letters speak, stories untold. Finding light in the dimmest of times. Love and truth in all their kinds. 12 letters written in the night. Unraveled tales, both dark and bright. Whispers carry through the wind, voices strong despite the din. 12 letters, secrets to be found. In the silence they resound. Strumming chords in a gentle refrain. Voices join in a soft harmony. 12 letters shared through joy and pain. Tales of love in our community. 12 letters, stories we confide. In the quiet they survive. In the heart of the silence, 12 letters we trace. Gentle echoes in this sacred space. Love and truth with light in their grace. Soft whispers of stories we embrace. In a quiet room where whispers grow, 12 letters speak tales we know. Through voices strong yet soft and clear, we bind our stories year by year. 12 letters, secrets shared aloud. In the hush, we're unbowed.